Miss, why are you going on strike?
Miss, what do you want to see change?
Miss, what about us?
I'm in Salford in Greater Manchester, and some teachers in this school are going on strike. Now this means that they'll stop going to work for a few days. So let's see what the pupils think about it.
Living in the country. Miss Johnson, why are you going on strike?
Teachers going on strike because they want the pay rise that teachers have been given to be funded by the government and not by schools. They want to have more money for schools so that we've got money to spend on resources and staff.
There are lots of people going on strike. Train drivers, nurses. Why are you going on strike now?
What we want is, we want people to be able to have the money for the jobs that they're doing, which at the moment, because of the cost of living, everything's going up and salaries aren't, so things are getting really hard for everyone.
There are lots of arguments about the strikes and who is to blame. Those who support the strikes often say that teachers need to have a pay rise which will keep up with rising prices. They argue that many teachers will quit their jobs without this pay rise and children's education will suffer as a result. Those who don't support the strikes often say that if teachers go on strike, then children might miss out on school on those days. They argue it's the wrong thing to do, particularly as many children miss school during coronavirus lockdowns.
In my opinion, I think the strike is good and bad, but for a reason why it's bad, it's because the people, like you said, in year 6, like us, they won't be getting the education they need for SATs.
What about the children who have to prepare for their SATs?
So we will make sure you're fully prepared for your SATs regardless of strikes. So there's days where you might miss a day of school for being ill or something like that, and we can make sure we catch up anything that's lost.
And the bad thing is because it's got to affect our learning.
If the government decides to give them a pay rise, then the school would have more money to use on equipment and resources.
How much money do you think you should be getting paid?
So teachers just want to be paid fairly for the work that they're doing and the hours that they're putting in.
I think it's good because the teachers standing up for what they should be given and the right paycheck they should need.
Are all teachers going on strike?
So no, so it's only teachers within the NEU, which is a trade union, and within that union people can choose to go on strike or not, so it won't be all teachers, no.
What about us at school?
So on that particular day you'll stay at home, but what we'll do for the rest of the week and the rest of the weeks is that we're going to make sure we fill in any learning that's lost on that day.
And even if we just miss a day off of school, I feel like they won't be able to squeeze in that much.
Teachers don't get enough pay, then they'll quit. And if they quit, it's just bad for students.
What are you going to do if we don't get the pay rise?
So what will happen is the trade union bosses will be in talks with the government to get the best solution possible.
Because schools are funded by the government, politicians and teachers need to agree on how to solve the argument. Newsround asked the UK government for an interview about the strikes. No one was able to speak to us, but Gillian Keegan, who is the politician in charge of education in England, has said that it's disappointing for children and parents that some teachers have voted in favour of walking out. She also said talks with union leaders are ongoing and strike action will have a damaging impact on pupils' education and well-being. Gillian says that they've already met the union's request of an additional $2 billion in school funding, which is its highest level in history. So, the strikes are set for the 1st of February and 2 days in March, but that doesn't mean that your school will definitely close, as head teachers are expected to take all reasonable steps to keep schools open for as many pupils as possible. And at the moment, teaching unions in Northern Ireland are considering a strike, but nothing yet has been confirmed.
Thanks, Shaniqua. And if you want to know more about what's happening with school strikes around the UK, you can head to the Newsround website for more information.